Hey folks, how you doing? This is 10 Ton Noggin. Getting ready to take a little stroll down memory lane here. Do something different. It's been a long time since I've streamed. What's funny is I think it feels like it's been longer than it really has. It's probably been about a month. Maybe under a month, I don't know. But considering that I was streaming quite a few times per week on a regular basis and for me, had more viewers than usual and that sort of thing. And there was no announcement about taking a break or stopping or anything. It just all kind of stopped. So it feels a little weird. It feels like it's been maybe a much longer time than it's really been. And like the title of the stream suggests, this is going to be it for a while. So I'm not going to actually close the accounts or anything. I may put up some little note saying that I'm on long-term hiatus. But I wanted to do at least one more just to kind of reach out. So I had a small audience, but a really wonderful audience. Folks I enjoyed seeing on a regular basis. Catching up with. We'll talk about that too, because I actually want to stay in touch. I want to make sure that this isn't the only venue that we have for chatting and just hearing what's up and how your families are doing and all the things that we talked about when I was streaming before. But given that for me it's going to be a little sentimental, because I actually like the idea of 10 Ton Noggin. I actually feel like I came up with a better idea than I could. 10 tons shoes feel a little bigger than maybe what I can fill. I'll talk about that too. About there's any number of reasons why I'm kind of stepping away from this for a little bit. So, but anyway, given the sentimental nature of things, I thought, it'd be kind of fun to do something, play a game that was a little more sentimental anyway. I'm going to go ahead and take my picture off of there. Let me see, actually. Boy, it's been a while since I've even used this. We do that? Is that going to do it? Wants to queue it up. It's not actually going to do it, is it? How about we do that? There we go. We'll focus on the game. Maybe I'll pop up at the end, and if there are folks on, then we can chat a little bit, but we'll see. And that's the other thing. Given the time difference with the folks that I usually talk to when I streamed, I may do one or two more just to make sure I have a chance to kind of catch up with people. But again, we'll see how it goes. Why don't, for now, we'll go ahead and start this off. And man alive, it has been a long time since I played this. I played enough recently just to verify that it was working, because with some of the updates, it seems like it did break a few things, actually. I'd heard that there are going to be some graphics improvements and stuff, and maybe there are. I honestly can't tell. I can't see that big a difference. But I can't run it in full screen mode now. So you can probably see a little bit more than I can as to what's on the screen. Oh, what the heck? Starting off right in the middle of things. Okay, let me do this. Let me jump back out, quit to, just jump into the main menu. May need to back up a save here. Let's do load. Yeah, let's do that one. Yep. When I was testing it out before, I ran into my former companion and started a conversation with her, and I didn't want that to get used up when I wasn't really playing, so I backed out of it. Yep, and there she is. Oh, waking up. This would be a good way to start.
Do you need something, monsieur?
How are you doing?
I must confess, I am missing you. I hope you've come so we can travel again together. Hint, hint.
I'd like to travel together some more.
Then let us get underway.
All right. take care of you around. So I figure the first thing I'll do here is... Wow, you run quickly in this. Oh my gosh, after playing 76 for so long, it's like... Am I like on perma-run or what? No, I'm not. That's just your normal walking speed. Wow. Oh my... Wow. Trash Can Carla. All these characters I forgot about.
Carla.
Need to pick something up? Road's pretty long from here.
Sure.
What kind of stuff do you have?
Just a bit of everything. You'd be surprised what people leave behind on the old roads. Gotta keep your eyes peeled for good stuff. Got plenty to sell if you're interested.
I have no idea. Let's take a look.
Sure.
Always happy to make a sale.
So many memories, man. Yeah, I don't think I need anything for right now, thanks. So I wanted to show off a little bit of, because I talked about this place quite a bit while playing 76. Basically while I was grousing about 76. I guess they're working. They got their reasons to be up there. I totally forgot about, that's Codsworth. Okay. I did some serious modifications on him. Wow. So this was going to be a wall around the town. Let's go ahead and we'll go all the way down here. But yeah, basically while I was occasionally grousing about being kind of tired of 76, not quite living up to what I had hoped for, I had talked about this place off and on, where I had some mods that would, you can see here the bridge isn't all crapified anymore. It's been fixed. Not everything is fixed, but a lot of the junk is cleaned up in the road. The dog carcass is gone. Is it a dog carcass or is there a dead body there? I can't even remember. There's something lying there. Clean that up. Wow, you even jumped differently in this one. Probably nothing at all in here. Yeah, the place is just completely cleaned up. Couldn't turn it into a nice base. I think I did for a while. I can't remember. I probably had some plan I never followed through with. I was going to turn this into something else. I think I've got... I didn't want to try to change the mods because it takes some special tooling. It's been forever since I've done it. I don't have a ton of time to play tonight. I want to make the most of the time I do have. Did I put that there? Is that always there? Must have been always there. All my traders, robotic traders going back and forth. So yeah, so we have some defense here. Welcome to Sanctuary. Greenhouse over there. But yeah, there's going to be a wall around the town. And so that's what this started out as being. There's going to be like a wall with a bunkhouse on it. And I think either I ran out of capacity or materials or just decided, wait, I don't know exactly what. I don't remember exactly why. But look at all the people. Look at all the NPCs. Hey Jamie, how you doing? I'm glad to have you here. Yeah, I'm calling it quits for a bit. We'll talk about why here as we go along. Like I was saying earlier, I want to make sure we stay in touch. Like, I'm not going to be streaming like I was before. And the way my life goes, you know, things could flip around here, but it's not likely. So I figure it's best to just call it as I see it right now, and we'll deal with the details. If things change, I can come back. It's not like I'm shutting down the account or anything. But for right now, yep, this is going to be the last stream for a bit. And yeah, so I thought I'd kind of hang out in Nostalgiaville here and talk Laundry Loungewear. Talk a little bit about why. Just because that'd be a good idea. Look at all the Mr. Handy parts. It's interesting. I'm doing okay. I'm actually doing better than I was for a little bit, like I hinted at. We had some things go on that were It's kind of hard to explain. It's funny. It's like it's one of those things that inside felt really big. Like there was a lot of anxiety. But overall, it's nothing that you'd really see from the outside. Looked at all the people. So as I go through, as I have opportunity here, let me kind of talk about some of the things that I miss about this. Things that I wish had been better transitioned into 76. So first of all, the fact that my wife and I could never play the game together. They never did. Crossplay really sucks. You know, I either had to choose a platform I didn't want to play on, PlayStation, or I was going to play on the platform I wanted, but then we couldn't play together. So the companion idea, like instead of having an NPC companion, I mean, Kiri is awesome. Kiri is maybe one of my favorite companions in the whole game. I like the story that they build between your character and her, or that you can build up. The idea that she starts off as this, you know, what do you call those things? The like scientific Mr. Handies. And you eventually she gets a synth body and you can kind of, you know, totally transforms her character. And it goes good with the main Fallout 4 story, right? The whole question about whether the synths are really people or not. Like, there's all sorts of... It's good stuff. So, really, really interesting story that, to me, just didn't exist in 76. And then the build capacity in this place. I've got... I mean, that place is junked out. It is what it is. Used a variety of mods to clean this place up. So you're going to have dirt poking through the road. But at least you don't have garbage lying around everywhere. Greenhouse right away. You don't have to like play through season to win it. So you got the crew working the plants in here. People just come by and do stuff, you know. It's like there's tons of activity every day. You got people working here. We got a workshop over here with multiple sets of armor and people just kind of doing odds and ends of stuff. Careful. Funny. I don't even remember that. Huh. Lots of signs of life. Way more signs of life here than at, say, my camp. 10 Ton Town in 76. You got a barber here. More places for folks to sleep. I like the gas lamp. So this place is a combination. It's a restaurant, but then you go up here and there's housing. No one ever closes their doors, though. So, you know, if you want them closed, you gotta go do it. Come up here and listen to the bird song. Look out over the town. But I was talking about the mods. I didn't change the season. I'm pretty sure it's summer right now. This is the... well, I'm on top of it. So if I want, I think I can do that. Not that you really need this with the stairs, but it's kind of fun. And this is just one place, right? Just one place to build at. Curious, trying to figure out what in the hell I'm doing. Go in here, you got a restaurant, and so a certain time, the restaurant, the stores, look at all the people.
But we taught them a lesson this time.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Just about anything.
No, it's actually spot on topic, man.
Gotta have the right tools.
It's kind of the reason I thought I'd come on here and just talk through it a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But I think you can actually, so...
You look like someone that needs a drink.
Yeah, so she's a natural bartender. Nah.
I don't need anything.
Whatever you want.
Okay. But you could, if you wanted to. And then, like I was saying, certain times of day, people will come in here and just fill up the seats.
My old man taught me that duct tape could fix anything.
They'll sit in there and work during the day. So what I had been hoping for was this, but with real people. You know what I mean? Like, if you could build up towns, even if it required cooperation. What do we got here? We got another bunkhouse for people. Go out the door here, and this is a trading post. So you will actually get certain, like Cricket, I think it is, will come by every once in a while and sell guns and that kind of thing. Lots and lots of activity. All of it NPCs, though. And that's, that wears thin after a while.
Sun come up one more time.
But imagine a game where you could do that, where you could build something that drew enough attention and activity that people would come and kind of make it a regular hangout. That would be awesome. Never really happened, though. Maybe it still will. Maybe 76 will suddenly do a 90-degree turn, go in a completely different direction. I just don't see it happening. So yeah, we'll just kind of wander through the wasteland here, go visit some of the old sites. I'm curious to see how big the map feels too, because again, supposedly 76, is it that? No. Oh, it is. I'm so used to, I'm not used to this little teeny map. So supposedly the map here is like 1/4 the size of 76.
Waiting for the resuming combat operation.
We're doing that. Oh, VATS. I don't remember how to do this. Let's go ahead and just do that.
Again, I have some
There we go.
hostilities.
Anyone else? Where'd their body go? So the weapons being a lot more deadly, I get why they didn't carry that through. Like, you gotta balance it out. You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like I'm being a fuddy-duddy about that whole thing because I go off on it all the time. Doesn't matter what game I'm playing. Why don't they have a better autonomy? But it's true. Like, I think that would actually add a lot of longevity to games in general. If you could build a complex economy that actually required or encouraged diverse exchange of goods and services, that's what an economy is, that would be awesome. That would be really, really cool. Something that combined with high levels of personalization, customization, that kind of thing. Doesn't make any sense that there weren't any NPCs because there's many people throughout Fallout 3 and 4. It's not like they popped up, yep, out of nowhere. Yeah, I agree. I'm so not used to this. The whole VATS thing. Oh. Thanks, Curie.
I may have detected.
There we go. Woohoo! Oh, I forgot about that perk. They explode in caps. Nice. No, I agree. I mean, they, to their credit, they've done a lot with it since. And I know there's at least one regular viewer that if I were sitting here kind of trash talking 76, they'd be getting a little upset. That's okay, though. Everyone's entitled to their own thoughts on it. It didn't quite, lots of promise, just didn't quite live up. But there's a lot of it that's sort of intangible, too. I couldn't tell you exactly why this place feels more like home than 76 does. Like, I can't go into any of these buildings. Very few of them. There are a few of them that you can get into. Not many, though. The guy complaining about having eaten rotten meat over there. We don't need to. I don't think we need to go talk to him. So yeah, I've got a couple other workshops, camps, whatever you want to call them, settlements in this game that I'll go visit here as I go through. And yeah, this is definitely summer because you see they added some flowers and that kind of thing. Nice touch. Curie is saying something. I can't hear what she's actually saying though. It's not showing the subtitles. So the whole thing about being done. So it was a combination of things. I mentioned that. So the thing that happened really wasn't anything new. it was without bringing up too much detail, because the I don't want to like make anyone uncomfortable again. But I've talked a lot on here about my family's medical travails, right? Because frankly, we're not alone. Lots of people go through stuff like this. Raider Waster. Hey, boop, 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 boop. Just gonna keep missing him until maybe I'll get a headshot there at the end. Nothing. That's embarrassing.
Fire in the hole! Damn it! Another shoulder wound! Why do they always gotta fight back?
This guy's actually lasting a little longer than I'm used to here. Make sure I don't die because I'm being sloppy. Kiri still babbling in the background there. Well, basically, so my wife has a condition that she has a compromised immune system. Something that's come up, like with COVID and everything, it's come up a lot, right? Well, she also caught COVID last year. And so she has what's called long hauler syndrome now, which means that her fatigue is just off the charts. She loses a lot of every day to just sleep. She needs way more rest than she used to, and she didn't have a lot of energy before. It impacts her in a lot of ways. It doesn't take much for her to, her heart rate gets really high, and she'll break out in a sweat and that kind of thing. It sucks. But we've had a long time to deal with it. To kind of process it and, in a way, kind of make peace with it, I guess. It is violent. It's my fault. Well, let's just say that someone else looked up some information on the web on her condition and kind of got a very abrupt reality check. Oh, Jamie, no, don't worry. Nothing, from my perspective, nothing you said, nothing you ever talked about, ever to me, caused any discomfort. It wasn't anything like that. No, it was someone else in my family who did some research on my wife's condition and saw some statistics that were really troubling to them. And which doesn't sound like much, but it was, it caused a pretty severe bout of anxiety. And I get that because I've been through that. When my son was diagnosed with a really, really awful illness, I had a similar reaction. I mean, my reaction lasted years, honestly. It just went on and on and on. And I still actually, I have tremors in my hands and that on when I get tired or overstressed that started because of that anxiety. It was a direct result of having gone through severe stress. So I know what severe stress is like. But in going through that whole process, it did one thing to me, and that is it was one of those periods where you really reevaluate everything. You're like, wait a minute, how am I spending my time? What am I doing every day? What do I get to the end of my days, and I'm lying there probably in a hospital bed or a care home, and I'm looking back on everything that happened and everything I did. How am I going to feel? So don't get me wrong. I mean, I love doing this. I like games a lot. All right, I can't remember how you get down there. I like games a lot. I like coming on here and just hanging out and chatting with people. But you've also heard me talk about the fact that I'm trying to do things like I'm trying to write and all that. And so it came down to this idea that like I really had to just stop a bunch of stuff for a while and take a look at what I was doing, take a look at what I wanted to do, and figure out like how much time do I really have realistically. I mean, couple this with the fact that I also turned 50 back in November, just to put my age out there. That's one of those turning points. That's a weird age. Like you hit 40 and it's sort of stereotypical, you know, people make jokes about being over the hill. When you hit 50, they stop joking about being over the hill. You know what I mean? Like suddenly it's that thing where it like it changes. Suddenly you're not joking about it as much. It's not like anything really significantly changed all at once in you. It is different though. It feels different. It made me a whole lot more thoughtful and probably closer to bringing on a midlife crisis than 40 ever did. You know. Are there any grenades? Oh, I do. Not that I did anything or not. Yep, what you're talking about there is exactly the sort of thing that, yeah, that just happened. And sometimes you face that and you just kind of, you know, however you face it, people, very often, they just need time to kind of process things. And like I said, it prompted a big round of, what am I doing? What do I want to do? How much time do I have? I don't know about you, but one of the things, like, throughout my life that's been a problem, like, of the many ways I've screwed things up, personally, maybe one of the main ones was us acting like I actually had all the time in the world to do anything. You know, like, I want to learn music. I want to learn Japanese. I want to learn architecture. I want to learn this. I want to learn that. I'm going to, you know, I'll just do them all. I'll do a little bit every day. It'll be fine. And whereas people typically, I think, grow out of that, they try to do a bunch of things, and I don't know, some people manage to pull it off, and that ends up, to me, you see people like that, and you're like, well, clearly it's possible. I mean, I'm just not trying hard enough here. But there's any number of things that might make it possible for them to do that, whereas maybe it's not possible for me.
To survive so many years.
So, yeah, you know, just that idea. Still, at this age, acting like I can do anything and everything I want. Been through a midlife crisis. No, I believe you. You probably, you know, midlife, I don't know, but that kind of emotional crisis, yeah, based on what you've told me, I could easily see that you've been through that, right? Where you don't have the luxury of just going, oh, everything's cool, I've got lots of time, and I'm just going to go do whatever. I've got my health. It's like, well, when your health has been compromised, one way or another, I gotta change guns here. I don't even know what other guns I have. There we go. When your health has been compromised like that, it prompts that same kind of thought, right? Oh, hey guys. Will you leave? Oh, there he is. I don't know why I'm shooting him in the arms. Seems to be working, though. Head. There we go. Come on. There. What in the world was that? I can't remember what it means when you hear that, like, joke, that gag thing. Oh, fine, leg.
Dead already.
So I've been working on this thing. Hey, I leveled up. What do you know? This thing that I want to do for about 2.5 years now. Not making a ton of progress. working on it every day. Like, finally figured out the daily writing discipline thing enough that I've been writing every day for, like 2.5 years. And I had done quite a bit of story development before that. But it's learning how to write. Everything required to do this is taking way longer than I am comfortable with. You know, if I really want to do this, then I've got to look at, like, how much time do I need to spend on it? Hyper focused on this. Sharp Raider chest piece. Now just take the caps. I don't even know why I'm gathering the caps. What am I going to use those for? Whoop! Hi. Apparently the explosion did him in. Okay, where do I have the let me see. I'm guessing there we go. At least I'm consistent in the way I assign hotkeys. What other guns do I have here? There's that. There's that. There's that. Ooh. That'll do it. I appreciate that. But yeah, so it came down to, like, I've been kind of hemming and hawing about what I want to do with this stream. And I took some time recently to, like, say, okay, if I really want to do the writing thing, here's what I need to do, like a daily schedule. Here's everything I need to do. And, like, I'm not even sure I'm going to have time to do everything I feel like I need to do minimum to do that. On top of just the daily, like, I've got a day job that's not writing, you know, all the usual stuff. And I've tried, you know, for decades, I've tried doing the let's just do a little bit of everything. I've never really focused it down to just one thing to see whether I would succeed or fail. And let me be clear, failure there is a real option. Like, it might turn out that this is just not something that I am, based on my experience and where life has taken me and the skills I have and my temperament and patience and skills and everything else. This might not be it. I don't know. But I want to find, that's kind of the point. I want to find out. I want to see if this can be a thing. Slow motion goo explosions. There we go. So yeah, and putting everything into the writing bucket. Which isn't just writing. I mean, the whole point is it's writing, a lot of reading. And there's one thing. So I'm still going to be doing occasional... I don't know for a fact. I expect I'm probably going to be doing occasional streams. But with a very, very different sort of approach. And not on the 1010 Noggin account. Like, the idea would be, if I'm able to get any traction at all on the stuff I'm publishing, then the streams would be an opportunity to get online and chat with, you know, people about whatever I'd just written about. Whether it's, you know, fiction or a blog post or a book critique or something. It'd just be like, hey, let's just kind of hang out and chat. Like this, but a little bit more topical. So yeah, I guess I kind of dressed up this place too. Forgot about that. Forgot about these things in here. Again, never really fleshed this out. Like, you got the disco ball going, so... And the people there. I cleaned it up, put a big old power supply on it. And that's about it. It didn't actually do much else with it. You know, so there's the matter of time. If I'm going to do this, let me talk about 1010 a little bit. So kind of what I had intended to do with the stream originally. So, the whole Avatar thing, like Tenton was meant to be a kind of a character, right? I thought it might be fun to do a stream that wasn't me. You have one life goal, though, dating an El Camino and driving around with your mom. That's an awesome goal. I hope you're able to realize that. That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, the writing thing for me is definitely one of those, like, if I get to the end of my days and I didn't give it a go, I'm really going to be hating it. So this is a mistake I made last time playing this. I went in and I'm like, oh, some snack cakes. I totally forgot that these people are psychotic. And if you steal their cupcakes, they, like, will chase you to the ends of the earth to murder you.
Surely we can leave that behind.
Lady, you don't know where your bullets are coming from. But anyway, so yeah, I was intending this to be a stream where I wasn't really me. And the idea of Tenton, before I had the cartoon character drawn or anything, I picked a name that, like, I originally wanted this to be, you know, like a stream that kind of focused on really deep critique and analysis of games. Like chatting and stuff too, of course. You know, that's the main point of it. But in terms of the content, you know, I wanted to... What I did before Tenton was I had a blog that did that. It, like, I wrote, you know, I think I published maybe 2-3 things a year. Because again, the writing thing's a pain in the butt. But I would do analysis of games, and it was a lot of fun. And it was all, you know, like with anything on the internet, it's very difficult to get real traction. It takes such persistent effort and tons of content. Man, you gotta be churning out the content like a crazy person in order to get and maintain people's attention on things. And so I wasn't really great at doing that. But the things that I published, like the proportion of like really positive feedback I got relative to the number of people who actually saw things based on impressions, I had a pretty good return rate. Like, I had a pretty good rate of people actually, you know, like, liking what I did. But it was really hard to build up an audience because, again, at that time I was doing that and this other thing, 3, 4, 5 different things, right? Trying to do everything at once. So I kind of gave up on that and moved on and came across the idea, well, I want to stream again, but this time I'm just going to pour myself entirely into streaming. I figured the streaming thing out. Your mom's uncle named Philip had a bunch of El Caminos. He would fix me up. Oh. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Man, that's rough. Well, I tell you what, I guess I'll keep my eyes open. I don't know cars. I couldn't tell you right now what an El Camino looked like. But I can find out. So yeah, when I started Tenton, it's like, okay, it's not going to be me. It's going to be this, you know, I figured out a logo and going through figuring out like how I wanted to, you know, the design. Because I like doing designs. I like doing design stuff too. Like, you know, Photoshop logo design, and not great at it necessarily, but I enjoy it, and that's more the point. I came up with this little cartoon character. I thought, well, how hard would it be to actually do one of those little face tracking things? So I took a couple weekends, and it turned out I was able to get one that worked fairly well. And I thought, well, this is really cool. Yeah, we'll make him a character. We'll, you know, it'll still be about like that, you know, like I was saying, deep analysis of games, overthinking, the joys of overthinking everything, because that's me. Day-to-day life, you want to find someone who just complicates the hell out of everything by thinking about it too hard? That is me. I take pride in that. What's going on up here? Who is that? the problem then was streaming. Like, the blog worked for that kind of format because you'll find people who actually look for that kind of content. That's what they like to read. I think I see where I am. Yeah. Oh, I get to pick a new perk. Jeez, I have no idea what I'm going to pick here. Look at all the things. Mom thinks his son. Oh my gosh. Oh, jeez. That's even worse. Hard enough to find peace when those sorts of things happen, let alone... No, I'm just coming up and saying hi. You don't have to shoot me here. Oh, hey. Caps. I wonder how many caps I have at this point. But I don't use them for anything, so far as I know. But yeah, it's hard enough to find peace when things like that happen, and then to have to worry about that sort of thing too. So, trying to make the long story short, the format that I thought would work here worked on a blog. I don't think it would work very well here. Or it might, but there was the other thing. You know, I was talking about doing just streaming, just that, and then instantly, like, changed my mind and started splitting my time between that and other things. Yeah, it just... If I come back to this particular account and do this again, it has to be a full-time gig. It has to be, well, not full-time, like I gotta keep a day job. I need the insurance. You know, realities of life in America. Entrepreneurial endeavors are reserved for those who don't need health insurance. Super Mutants orders. We don't want those. El Camino has the front of a muscle car and the back. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Like the image of one was kind of floating there in my head. I almost had it. But yeah, I know what you're talking about now. But yeah, basically, I don't think I gave this a fair shake either. Like, I still split my time too much between too many different things. And then you combine that with, you know, look at the end of my days. Like, I've had a lot of fun here. And I still want to, you know, like, meet up online at times. Oh, I can't. It's driving me nuts. I can't get up there. Can't go through there. There we go. Like, the things that I got out of this channel, I'm pretty sure I can do other ways without, you know, the whole 10-10 thing. And just devote more time to that core, like, you know, trying to do that thing that I need to have a good run at before I run out of time. But honestly, looking at how much time it's going to take to do that other thing, do the writing, for the last couple months, I haven't been intentionally avoiding games. There's just been no time each day. You're an orange El Camino like the Dukes of Hazzard, the General Lee. Yeah, you know, I don't think the General Lee would actually go over the same way these days that it used to. I'd say from within the last year, there's been a rather pronounced change in sentiment. That would make that kind of tough. I mean, an orange one, yeah. But an orange one with the whole Confederate flag emblazoned on it. I guess it depends on where you drove it. I would not drive it. We'll just keep the orange part. Anyway, that's about it. You know? This was a lot of fun, but I kind of shot myself in the foot by not giving it, you know, nearly enough time. Anything like this you want to do online, it's got to be kind of the main thing you do. The people I know who have found success in these kinds of things, first of all, that success has been hard-won over years. And it's been hard-won over years of consistent, regular, like really aggressive publishing of content. And honestly, I think too that they've, you know, they're so focused on gaining an audience that they've done a much better job of tailoring what they do to the audience that's showing up. Whereas I'm like, nah, I've got this idea in my head and I just want to do that. And if I get an audience, fine. And if not, then that's okay too. Which is true. And I've said many times, it's still true. I love the audience I have. But if I wanted to grow this, if I wanted to somehow, for some reason, if I wanted to do anything that made it more like a standard format stream, it would take so much more effort.
Gotta be joking.
So much more time. I mean, it could take all my free time and then some. And that might be enough. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm enjoying it too. I'm also, I mean, honestly, I'm getting a kick out of this. I think this is the right game to play. You know, that's something I didn't talk about either, but you know, all the talking I've been doing about, I need to find a new game, I need to find a new game. All the ones I tried were fun. They still weren't it. I never did find anything that really felt like, oh my gosh, this is where I want to spend my time. I would be totally okay with this. This is just where I'm going to live for a while now. And that's okay. I don't think it's just... like it really could be any number of things. It could be just personal preference. It could be my age, let's be honest. People of different, you know, generations tend to look for different things in films and books and that, you know. That's why you have certain genres that are actually kind of based on age groups. For you. I rang the bell. Getting irradiated again. But part of it too, honestly, it feels like games won't really grow up. And I'm at the point right now where I don't care if that's offensive or sounds judgmental to folks. It's true. There are a lot of things that games could do that they just don't because they're so damn busy pandering to the same audience that they keep selling the same damn games to over and over again. Pardon my French, but it's true. So for anyone who's actually hoping for something a little new, it's like, so here's the thing. Those games exist, right? The ones that try something new? Sure they do. Look at indie games. I just heard of a game the other day that I'm actually kind of interested to try, and I may do if I find free time. Where you are basically, it's the last day before some kind of cataclysmic event, and your job is to go out and just pick all the things that you want to take with you. You know what I mean? So it has what sounds like a really awesome, emotional, sentimental vibe. What do you take with you when the world's ending? that is an awesome idea. Here's what I'm expecting from the game, and this has been my experience with all of these sorts of games, is that it is a really good idea. It's a great idea that no indie team can fully realize, because games, as far as we have come in game development, games still realistically require enormous teams and budgets. And that's not anyone's fault. It's just, it's a fact of life. It's a rare, very clever sort of person who creates something on their own that really lives up to, is able to fully utilize whatever their vision was for the game. And I'm having trouble thinking of anything like that right offhand. You know, if someone wanted to do something like... Oh, well, I think I've gone back to this example a couple times. What? Oh. Yeah. Gone back to this example a few times where my son plays a game. It's not even one that I like. I've seen it. I've never played it. I have no interest in playing it. But the point is, it stands out a little bit. And that's Warframe. And Warframe did some stuff that was pretty different. And Warframe took years and years and years of development to realize where it is right now. You know? It's just, to me, it's a really good example of how if you want to do anything, if you want to stick with your vision on something, you've basically got to find a way. Again, it's kind of reserved for the healthy. It's reserved for people who can sacrifice so much more of their life to do that one thing. And that's it. And not just the one person, it's a whole team of people. And even then, as much as they've done, it's really awesome. It's still not anywhere near what I would want to commit time to playing long term. Is it called 60 Seconds? I don't think so. But I could be wrong. I don't quite remember. Anything interesting in here? Probably not. Yet more bottle caps we can't spend. So, you know, No Man's Sky, fun. No apparent economy. I think they actually... I was a little disappointed that, like, I've already got a freighter in the game. Because you get a freighter not by building up to it, not by having to, like, manage all these different attributes and skills and all that. You happen to be in the right place at the right time. They structure it so you will be in the right place at the right time. And you fend off a couple fighters, no big deal. And then someone gives you a freighter. Like, they completely short-circuited the potential sense of reward and satisfaction in getting it by making it too cheap and easy to get. I like the building stuff in No Man's Sky quite a bit. Had some fun with it in the last couple sessions I played. So it's the same thing, like, you know, I've enjoyed, like, take Harry Potter. I read Harry Potter. I read it to my kids out loud. All of them. Had a lot of fun. I enjoy the series. I don't really go back to it. I'm not the sort of person who... I am the sort of person who will geek out and go back to the same thing over and over and over again when it clicks the right button. Like, there are certain things I can enjoy numerous times. Something like Harry Potter, not as much. Even though I know for a lot of people that's exactly the sort of thing that draws them back over and over and over again. But on to the point. So Harry Potter's fun. I enjoyed reading it. Glad I did. These days, the sorts of things that I like to read aren't easy reads. You know what I mean? Like, they might challenge you a little bit as a reader. And they're not, let me be really clear, they're not intentionally confusing. They actually entrust more of the whole process, more of the experience to the reader, to the audience, than something that simpler will. Feel like an end of an era? Maybe. Yeah, definitely could be. Maybe we're at that, you see this a lot, right? Where there's this lull in between generations of things. And right now we're in this lull where, like VR, take VR for example. VR is really interesting. Someone about to come shoot me? Anyway. VR is really interesting. When I got my Oculus dev kit and started using it, I didn't have a lot of issues with motion sickness. I did keep it on way too long one day and ended up taking it off and feeling that weird, what the heck happened? Felt that weird kind of dissociation. Like I wasn't sick, but I felt like I wasn't really looking at reality for a little while. Just kind of an interesting thing to have happen. Get down there again. But a lot of the things that I tried out first in VR, like there's one called The Chair. And the chair consisted of sitting in a chair and looking around. Like that was the whole thing. Sounds boring maybe to some people at first, but no, you got to experience it. It took you through all these different environments. It used a very, very clever mechanic for doing so. Really effective, where it would let's go down in here. So you would just look around the room, like you start out in darkness, and you start seeing these little lights popping up, and so you look at the lights and you look left and look right, and oh, aren't the lights pretty? Oh, the streams, yeah, that too. I think it's definitely end of an era there. I think I need to actually make it the end of an era. I think if I make it the end of an era, I will maybe, for the first time in my life, find genuine success in something. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it feels like from where I sit. I've kind of half-assed everything in my life because I wanted to do so many different things. And so it's time to full-ass something, I guess. You know, we're going all in this time. Both cheeks. Huh?
What?
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't sure you were reacting to me. I said I'm tired of half-assing things.
I heard that part. It was the last part I was questioning.
Both cheeks? Well, it's a natural conclusion, right?
I guess.
My daughter's acting like I don't talk like that when I'm not on the stream. But to finish my misguided thought on the VR thing, is it to me it does feel like games actually are at a critical point where look what keeps happening, right? Where companies keep releasing these things and there's all this build up and all this hype. What does the audience do? Like, they do all these things in the interest of keeping an audience that is proving to be more and more fickle, that's getting more and more tired of the same old thing, even though they don't seem to be able to really articulate it yet. And then you have some new technologies that have come up that the point of what I was trying to get to about the VR stuff is that VR seemed to like go in the wrong direction to me. The experiences I tried where you didn't have to be running around shooting things all the time were the best. because they widened your audience because you didn't have to worry about people getting sick all the time. One of my favorite ones was actually have you seen Spirited Away? Anyone who sees this, if you have seen Spirited Away, you know the scene with Kamaji, the boiler guy with the really ridiculously long stretchy arms, who lives in the boiler room and keeps the hot water coming for the baths. So you get to there. Someone made a VR experience that is Kamaji sitting there in the boiler room. You can go in and you can actually see the little soot sprites doing their work. And I took a bunch of time just going through that room and picking up objects and turning them over, having already been familiar with the scene. The sheer pleasure of being able to explore that place that just made it feel 100 times more real. Even though the graphics were nowhere near what you might like them to be. Like, they weren't comparable to the film at all. They were blocky and the textures were low res. But that's my point, is even though it was really low res, a fairly just a more narrow experience, introspective experience. It's one of the best things that I've ever experienced using VR. But as soon as they start trying to make things for the broader market, what do? I'm not even saying this is wrong in itself. I'm saying it's wrong to have only this. And that's that they start making action everything. They start making games that fit this model that they have spent decades trying to hone, trying to reduce risk and guarantee, blockbuster hits every time. And in doing that, I think they've kind of missed the point. And so you combine that with stuff, the fact that you have people seem more and more fickle about, zombie water, gross. That was awful. And just a skeleton lying there. It feels like something's got to change, right? Like something has got to shake this up. But then, yeah, in terms of my stream, definitely. Like I said, it has to be intentional. Like if I decided if the writing thing is a bust, and I'll tell you, if the writing thing's a bust, I'm going to have to take 6 months to a year just to, get my head back in the right place for whatever the hell comes next after that. Because while I don't emphasize it here a lot, let me be clear. I've been trying to write since I was a teenager, or before. Actually, before. Since I was in grade school, and I would get out my mom's Royal typewriter and a dictionary and sit there and try to come up with things that sounded more mature than I was, than I could ever hope to have written back then. Fantasy stories. What's funny, that's funny, think about it, and the genre I was trying to write in at the time was not too far off from what I'm trying to do now either. And so I got to high school and wrote some short stories and got, again, really good feedback from folks. Loved the connection I felt after writing something, then having someone read it and watching their reaction. Oh my gosh, there's nothing like that. That is like crack to me. But in a good way. It's good crack. I'm not sure if there's such a thing. All the things we know about, all the things we use to describe something that's really, really awesome and addictive. All these really awful drug references, right? Whoop. There we go. Like I said, I don't know what Carrie is saying. I just like listening to her gabble in the background. So yeah, if the writing thing doesn't work out, that's going to be a hard fall. That's going to be it's one of those things, and I'm sure you have some of these too already, where you look at this and you're like, oh my gosh, that thing that I associated with myself so closely, that thing I wanted to be, that thing I wanted to do, never happened. That's not easy to get over. Even if you've never done it, when you want to do it, and that wanting to do it becomes a core part of your identity, a core part of your personality. Doesn't matter if you've ever done it or not. Like, the realization that you're not going to, purposefully, intentionally turning away from it and saying, that's it, I'm done, I'm not doing that. That is not easy. That takes time to get through. And it may happen. If I get garbage feedback when I start finally finishing, if I can't finish anything, there's the first thing. Maybe I gotta set a time frame. If I can't finish anything, I gotta maybe set a time limit. Right now, my time limit is, let's see, I will stop around the time I'm on my deathbed. I don't know when that is, but I figure that's a good cue. Stop writing. I don't know if that's the best decision. Because you gotta look at that too. You gotta look at, okay, well, if that happens and I look back and that's the life I lived, am I really gonna be okay with that? Oof. Right now, I think so, yeah. But it's the sort of thing that warrants constant reflection, right? Keep thinking about that. Make sure you're really okay there. But if I go there, if I decide, like, that's it, I've had some kind of, epiphany, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to turn away from it. I'm going to put down my pencil and paper and typewriter and computer and phone, all the other things I used to write. And that's not me now. I never did that thing. Right in the ear. That can't feel good. But if I get there, whatever I do next, it's got to be just as all in. So that's the other reason that I feel like this is difficult, because you could say I'm just being a fuddy-duddy, that I'm being too picky, that I just don't like games as much as I say I do. I don't know. You could look at it a lot of different ways. But right now, with the state of games, it'd be really hard to come back because it just feels like there really isn't any place to go. I can come back and do this some more. This isn't what I want to do. Not long term. This is not a deathbed sort of a thing. Whoop! I didn't shoot you, did I? Sorry if I did. Curtsy. Why does it always start up there? Go up the head. Target the head. I do miss these shots. Which I think they were even more cinematic in like Fallout 3, right? The few things I've seen from Fallout 3, I remember these shots. Whoop! I remember the VAT shots looking like really like staged and music and like there's just a lot more to them. Oh, fine, torso.
Engaging defensive countermeasures.
Follow your heart, yeah. Follow your heart, but temper it with your head. It's tough to be holistic about these things. There's a lot to try to manage, but I do think that's the best sort of approach. Put it this way: if my heart told me to go be a dancer, I'd have to put a stop to that. And I know that's not what you're suggesting. That's a silly example to make a point. Blair? Where is he? Behind you!
A lot more of this up here than I was led to believe.
I love Curie. She's awesome. Yeah, and I'll be honest, my inclination with you, and I do this maybe too much, is to say you can find a way to take my own advice that, whoops, the advice I was just giving myself and say, no, find the thing. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. You know what I mean? That's nothing I've ever pursued. I knew a few attorneys growing up. I had some friends whose mom was an attorney. We really didn't talk business much. You know what I mean? So I never really got like a good sense of what's involved. All I have to go on there in terms of like little insights and stuff is general principle that I found where like there are hard limits to this. But I found that in my career, one of my biggest advantages in terms of like competitiveness in the job market. Here, let me, so I can actually talk to you. Well, there we go. That's neat. How is that associated with a keyboard command? So I have my Stream Deck is hooked up to like the F24 key. Apparently one of those is still melee attack. That's weird. So one of the key advantages I've had is that I have personally been too stubborn or dense, or for me just plain stupid, to realize I couldn't do certain things. And so I go and try to do them. Now within the realm of technology, that's actually worked out really well. Because like when I first started into web development, I hadn't ever professionally done web development. I had programmed, but writing C++ code is way different than writing HTML and CSS and JavaScript and all that. So what did I do? Well, at my day job, I found a little side thing where I was like, I'll just, I'll build something using this technology. Then I went on a job interview and said, yes, I know how to do that. I wasn't lying. I mean, I'd done it. I wasn't like making stuff up. But I know a lot of people who in that situation would be like, well, I don't know how to do it yet. I need to take a class, maybe get certified. I need to now law is way different than making a website. I'm not trying to do a direct one-to-one comparison here. I am saying that the idea of suspending disbelief or decision to the extent that it prompts you to try things that maybe sound a little nuts is not the worst thing in the world. Going and trying things where you're like, nah, that won't work. Go give it a try. I just heard a story the other day, actually. It was just a TikTok thing, but it applies here. It was, I'm like going in circles, so I got to figure out how to not go in circles here, and that's not the right key. Let's fast travel somewhere. I haven't fast traveled for free in so long. Hangman's Alley. Let's go there. How do I go there? Yes. Excuse me. But this kid was talking about, he wanted to learn guitar. He knew exactly which guitar he wanted. He wanted this Gibson. Can't remember what the name of it. I had never heard this thing. It's apparently a Gibson guitar. It wasn't really popular, but he loved it. And so he wrote to the CEO of Gibson at the time and was like, can I have one? And he actually got a letter back that was like, we can't give you a $3,000 guitar. But, you got Moxie, kid. Basically, good for you. You're going to go far if you keep this up. And here's a bunch of like guitar strings and guitar picks and that kind of thing. Like not like a ton of stuff, but it was enough encouragement that he's like, okay, we're going to keep trying. Well, I think he eventually kept at it, did some kind of youth music tour, made enough money to actually get the guitar, and it just kind of took off from there. So it may not seem like it's all that connected, but the point is that it was his attitude about whether or not he could do this thing that kind of kept him moving through it. I have to do the same thing with writing. I have very little evidence to suggest that I can routinely finish a written piece of any quality. I haven't finished a short story. I'm working on a novel, first of all, which, starting up, like, I wrote a few short stories in high school, and then like 30 years pass or more. 40 years pass. And then, yeah, I think I'll start writing again. I tell you what, instead of something small, let's do a novel. There's this idea of this, like, depending on who you talk to, they'll classify it different ways. Some people will call it hubris. It's not necessarily wrong, but that's not necessarily a bad thing in that context. Other people will call that a big, hairy, audacious goal. That is from a kind of a famous business book about companies that lasted 50 years or more and really thrived. They did a study at Harvard Business School where they looked at companies that lasted a very long time and found success where they had competitors doing very similar things that did not. I talked about this before, I think, because like Sony was one of the companies that did great, whereas Magnavox did not. Magnavox, Zenith, they kind of died out. But one of the key sort of identifying traits that they found of companies that did really well was big, hairy, audacious goals. They found a way to actually develop and maintain this vision that was bigger than what they thought they could really do. And from experience, I can tell you, it also works on an individual scale. Yeah, hey, like if you wanted to write what you, that's the other thing, like write exactly what you want to write or what you want to read. That's where I'm starting. Like a lot of the stuff I'm writing fits into a weird meta genre, which I've been very hesitant to talk about, largely because same old. You're afraid people are going to be like, well, that's weird or dumb. It isn't. Like, it turns out like a lot of people write this sort of thing. This is really trippy. It's... Come on. Right there. There we go. Ooh, you're a tough guy. There we go. I was gonna say, you gonna start up now? Back up. So yeah, I do something horror related. Study, go read Stephen King. Stephen King's like tip of the iceberg. There are so many really good horror authors you can find. You find things that you like are similar to what you want to do. You find things that you like that are nothing like what you want to do. You find things you don't like that you think are things like there's a huge mix of stuff out there. You go, you read it, you write every day. And that kind of gets back to, again, why I'm just saying overtly now that I'm not doing this. Writing every day and sharing something nearly every day is going to take everything I've got and more. And so that's kind of the shortest version of this. I mean, we've talked about a lot of stuff, and I appreciate your listening to all the reasons, all the many whys and how comes as to why I feel like I've got to shut this down for right now. But a big part of it is just that. It's just time management. I know that to develop what I want to do... What is that sound? Is there a radio on in here? I think I've searched for this radio before. I don't think it exists. I think there's a radio sound trigger here and no actual radio. Anyway. Like I remember hearing that I've seen so many cases of this sort of thing. When you listen to interviews of people who have spent their life doing something they're really passionate about, really common theme is that they found a way to do it every day in a more real, engaged sort of way. I've heard a couple times now different versions of the story where Neil Gaiman, who wrote American Gods and Coraline and Ocean at the End of the Lane, people aren't going to know as much. He wrote the Sandman comics. A lot of people will know him from that. He is easily... A few of his works are some of my favorite works. I liked a lot of his stuff, but the things that I don't like that he does, I really don't like. So I'm hesitant to say he's one of my favorite authors because there's such a strong mix there. But, obviously I have a lot of respect for him. And when he's writing stuff I liked, it's like I said, it's some of my favorite things. But anyway, point is, he, when he was quite a bit younger, he'd been writing since he was a teenager or a kid, and was having trouble selling work. Yee, that's nasty. Was having trouble getting anything published. And so, what is with everyone? Everyone's in their underoos and dead. I don't remember this. He basically got a job as a journalist working in the publishing industry. So that what did he do every day? He wrote and he talked to writers about what they did. I'm like, that's brilliant. That is just such a genius move. Especially for a younger person, like you're starting out, you're kind of choosing what you're going to do. Absolutely brilliant. Well, I don't have that luxury at this point, So I've got to go and figure out some other way to write every day, but also get a lot of feedback.
Oh no. The body can absorb tissue damage, but still, too much radiation too quickly.
Gotta figure out how to write and show people a lot of finished stuff, even little stuff, small things. I've been writing every day for 2.5 years, but it's not enough obligation to get me to like finish things and share them and get the feedback and go through the pain required to really hone and develop those skills. So at least, it's good at least to know what you want. I know a lot of people who the hardest part is they just aren't sure exactly what they want to do, It's hard to know. You go through a long period where you just have to kind of wander. Try a little of this and a little of that until you figure out what it is. And I appreciate the sentiment. Things I can guarantee you, man, things will not go perfect, but I'm going to keep at it. That's the thing. You commit to the level that it could be going just hellaciously bad, and you stick with it. If you can do that, you're actually probably going to do okay. We shall see. I'll tell you too, the thing that got me for a long time, like I play guitar badly, but I've played for a long time. And I'm not just picking on myself. I really do play badly, but I enjoy it. I've never developed the mechanical skills, the dexterity to actually play guitar well, or keyboard or anything, frankly.
The enemies have been dispatched.
There, I helped. But for the longest time, I was like, like from high school. Like I said, I wanted to do too many different things. But I thought, I want to be a musician. Music is the thing. Music is the thing I want to spend my life doing. And it took a long time to realize that it wasn't actually the music that was getting me. It was actually, I'd listen to music, and the music would get stories going in my head. And the reason I listened to the music, the reason I loved certain kinds of music was because they fostered stories. And I'd sit there and I'd talk, yeah, I do love music. Music's a lot of fun. It's a core, integral part of my day. But when you find yourself listening to things and then what you're telling people about is the thing you pictured in your head while you're listening to the music, more so than the song or, the music itself, or you find yourself gravitating to things over and over again that, you're evaluating them not on anything but their ability to inspire stories and imagery. Maybe it's not the music. Maybe the music's sort of an essential piece of it. Maybe it's something else.
Man, please don't be ferals again.
I don't know how many times I've almost shot Curie today.
Shit, who is that?
End of the line.
Hello.
High and injuries.
Where'd you go?
We are being shot at. Enemy unknown.
Are we being shot at again? They're not one of them. She got him. So this will be a first. And I'll admit, I hate the fact that I'm finally figuring this out while I'm at age 50. You know what I mean? So that bugs me. I'm not letting it stop me. I'm not going to grouse about it too much. A little bit. Oh, hi. Where'd you come from? Huh. Got your caps. Oh, I've got like 20 ammo left in that gun. Let's switch again. Ooh, I don't know what that is. We'll try that for a while. But yeah, it feels pretty weird, I'll be honest, because, you know, so the things that I like to read, unfortunately, the people that you generally... I don't know. Maybe a little snootiness around it. I don't want to be too judgmental, but you know, I'm a little worried that the audience that I'm trying to play into is just going to be a really tough crowd. Shall we put it that? I think that's the best way to put it. Help me figure out what my gun does. Ooh, that's neat. You too? And who are you? You're just a scavenger. We'll leave you alone.
I believe the enemy is gone.
Okay, let me see if I can find one of the other settlements here. I don't think it's too far off from here. I didn't really comment on it while I was there, but that was the place I was just at that has the elevator that goes up like 4 stories where you can, you know, that Hangman's Alley. Also, tons of fun to design. Coming up with a structure that you can kind of fit vertically in that little teeny footprint of a space. Lots and lots of fun to design.
What the?
Here's someone else. Not you, though. Don't want to shoot you.
We are fighting? Why not the civilized...
So when I am streaming games on the new thing, what I thought I would do is I will just reach out on the Discord and let you know. And if you want to stop by and say hi, that would be awesome. I don't even know what I'm going to call the account at this point. I've got a couple ideas for names. But part of the problem is I've got certain accounts. An incendiary leather chest piece. That's interesting. I've got a couple accounts that have features that are grandfathered in. Like I have a version of WordPress for the blog. Yes.
Dinner in 10.
Oh, okay. Dinner in 10. So we're going to wrap this up here. I have a version of WordPress that they don't sell anymore. So I have my own domain. And I bought a set of features that they offered for a short time that let you do all the custom CSS that you want. The style sheets. Now, the reason that's a really good thing is that A, it's cheaper than what they want to charge now for a comparable set of things. Actually, what they want to charge now doesn't even include everything that I can do with this package. And it sucks that they changed it like that. But to their credit, they let me pay for it every year. It's not that much money. And I can do a lot of stuff with it, including removing the ads from the site. Because I can put CSS in that basically says, nope, that's invisible. And this is a really important rule. So always make sure you use it. Now now that I've said that here, they'll be like, what? Because, you know, WordPress watches my 10-ton stream all the time. But anyway, So the problem though is that the name of that account is my old, like what I used to try to stream under. That's this impronounceable set of consonants. It's not really what I want to use for marketing. So it's where I'm going to be hosting things, but then I've got to get like an actual brand going, something that people will remember. I've also got to associate my name with it, because when you write, you don't use a business name, you use your name. Oh, okay, so how do I, like, which accounts do I use where I use my real name, and which ones do I, there's stuff to figure out, so I can keep the features for all the different applications and stuff that I'm using. But also keep it so that people can actually find it, because it's kind of important that people actually be able to come and find what I'm publishing.
Oh, it's on.
Hello.
Why not we doing that instead?
All right. Let me check. That's not the map. Map. There we go. So I'm there. Weatherby Savings and Loan. Where am I going to? Oh yeah, if I just go straight from here. Okay. Because yeah, I mean, still being able to hang out and chat about stuff, I think would still be a lot of fun. And the games are going to be a lot more casual. Games are not really the point of, what I'm doing next. The games are just a way to kind of hang out and chat with folks, you know what I mean? So I will different set of criteria. I'll probably look to pick something that doesn't occupy too many brain cells, just because trying to actually put together a sentence while also trying to solve puzzles and avoid gunfire and all that can get kind of hairy sometimes. You know what's funny though is that so I'm going to be using my old YouTube channel for this, and while most of the videos that I published there got no traffic at all, I've got one or two videos that get a little bit of traffic, and by a little I mean that one of them has, over the course of 3, 4, maybe 5 years, about 13,000 views, something like that. For me is woohoo, that's as most as I've ever got. But it also has a lot of comments on it. It was that game I've talked about before, the Tomorrow Children. I thought ahead and recorded the last half hour ever of that game. It was it had an online component. That's not where I want to go. I'm saying it wrong. It didn't have an online component. It was a multiplayer game. As soon as they shut down the servers, you couldn't play anymore. And so it was a really great game. It got absolutely trashed by critics. Wrongly so. Bad critics. Stupid critics. I'm still going into the wrong building. Oh man. But anyway, so I happened to record the last half hour, and there are a lot of people who felt the same way that I did, where they're like, this is the best thing ever. This should never have been shut down. And so I get people coming by and being sad about the game, But I'm really glad I captured that. So I've got that there. And that static content, together with me reading an excerpt from a literary novel, it's one of the things I'm going to do on the new stream that probably isn't interesting unless you're into literature, that sort of, which, just not everyone is. Not everyone likes contemporary fiction. Surprise, surprise. But that's the only other new video I put on there. Is I did a live stream where I went and sat outside and read a sample and was like, okay, here's what I like, here's what I don't like. Would I continue reading this? That hasn't even gotten that many views. When I say it hasn't gotten that many, I mean less than this many. And yet I've picked up 6 new subscribers on that channel without doing anything. Which again is not that many. It's all relative. For me, that's that's a lot. That's a pretty significant increase. But it's curious to me. Like, there's something in the content there that is obviously it's just making me think about, you know, what makes for good content. Where am I going? Didn't see the little sign. Oh, there we go. Took me a while to find it. That just the garage? I don't think so. So yeah, I mean, when I read these days, I read a lot of books, but I don't finish very many. That's intentional. Like, I read across a lot of different styles, and I'll read the first couple chapters or whatever and do a little bit of an analysis of it. So I'm just going to do that as impromptu streams. You know, I'll find some place to sit and probably not show a lot on screen, but I'll go through, do a reading. I've gotten feedback that people like the sound of my voice, so I'll try to play that up a little bit and do a little bit of analysis and call it good and see if that works. I'll probably do excerpts from the stuff I'm writing occasionally. I have to be careful about that because people will steal stuff. Like, maybe I'm being too paranoid, but I don't think so. And having had my work stolen before, albeit in a different field, let me tell you, it's no fun. You do not want someone else taking your stuff. It's like, it sucks. But then, yeah, also when I do certain kinds of posts, if I do, it's just going to vary, whether it's topical things or I'm doing like writing prompts or whatever. Then I'll probably do like weekly streams to say, hey, you posted this. What do people think? That kind of thing. We'll see. See how it goes. Apparently, Kiri's going to stay there. We'll go down. This and so the place I'm in now and Sanctuary Hills, easily my two favorite settlements in the game. This one they won't let people in though. You know, it's this really awesome garage. You can build robots. There's one other person who lives here with her little pet robot. But I've built these elevator shafts so that instead of having to go... Is it already down here? Nope, it wasn't down here. Like, this is kind of like the... I don't know what to call it. This is where I keep the power armor and supply chests and that kind of thing. We'll go out here. There's still a place to sleep, just in case. There's a place to keep the power armor. Go up here. Yep, there's the other... More... Yeah. Jetpack, Tesla, yada, 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 electrified. Looks really cool. It's kind of the hot rod armor, right? Without the hot rod paint. Head back down here. Go to the other side, and there's a 4-story elevator over here. And there's a lot of other stuff. Like, you can go gather supplies in here, too. Go up to the 4th level. Utility rooms, nothing in them. And then there's this place, which looks quite a bit more like the places that I have in 76. This is where I started to... Adams Bulwark. What is that, I wonder? Been too long. Let's talk to Kiri.
Hey.
Do you need something from me?
Hi.
What do you wish to talk about?
What are your thoughts?
Do not get over fond of danger, my love. I wish to journey with you for many years to come.
Isn't she sweet? Relationship.
Check in. See how you feel things are going between us.
We are better than ever. I never knew life could be such bliss.
Robots in love. Isn't that cute? Never mind. Anyway. Is it going? Couldn't quite hear it. Didn't sound like it was playing. I guess it was. Okay, we'll let that go. Alright, let me head back up to Sanctuary Hills from here. There's a lot more to explore, really. But you see what I mean about, like, I know I've been doing some loops here. It just feels bigger. Somehow, to me, it feels bigger than 76. I know it isn't. It doesn't matter that it isn't. It matters what it feels like. So, yeah. This has been a lot of fun. And I don't want to leave it behind entirely. It's one, like, I don't think I need to work in a streaming strategy to the new thing. But honestly, I enjoy it enough that I kind of want to. And I figure it can't hurt. So long as, you know, like, it's not taking up time that I should be using for other things. Let's see if everyone's having dinner here. Probably a little too late. I think it's too late at night. Oh, look at the moon.
Yeah?
Oh, nope, we got everyone in here.
Whole place
This is... Okay, let's grab the corner booth.
As honest work gets.
There we go. Good place to end it. Kiri, over here. Don't just stand there awkwardly. She's just going to stand there awkwardly. Yeah, more space, but more wooded areas, but also more empty stuff. You tend to find encounters of one kind or another at virtually every place you go here. And so it creates a perception of density, right? Instead of these really huge... and that might be what you mean by wooded areas. Like, it's all just, you know, scrub and whatnot. It's wilderness areas. So this ends up feeling more like a city that's just spread out. We're probably talking about the same thing. So yeah, I would agree. So anyway, no, it was a lot of fun. And like I was saying, you know, it's actually, I want to do my best to incorporate a streaming strategy into the new stuff, just because I think I've already missed it in the roughly a month or so that I haven't really done anything with it, you know. Oh, apparently I'm out of stim packs. That's not good. Carrie's over there dancing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the many times you kept me company, and really, I've enjoyed our discussions, our conversations more than I can say. And not to sound like it's all just done and done, right? It's just kind of changing a little bit. So, and again, if the writing thing doesn't work, this is a likely candidate for something I'd come back to, you know. One more thing, just so I get it off my chest about the 10-ton thing. Not that it's all that important, I guess. It just feels like that there were certain points I wanted to hit tonight when talking through it. And that's that I think my sense with 10-ton is that there was a mismatch between my own personality and what the cartoon character looks like. You know what I mean? When people see the TV theme and they see a cartoon character, what are they expecting? Like, I know what I would think. I'd be like, this person's going to be yucking it up. There's going to be some sort of comedic or silly element. There's going to be a cartoony thing. And that is so not me at all. Couple that with, yeah, all the other things we've talked about. And I think that it was just it was just a mismatch. I think the mismatch in expectations when most people came by probably created a little bit of a sense of just wasn't what they were stopping by to see, you know. You gotta kind of put forward an image that lines up with people's expectations when they finally come in, when they actually come in and say hi. And one more point, I don't know if you heard, but so I've actually been getting most of my views now on Periscope, interestingly. Like, I go back and look at Periscope, and whereas I might only have a couple visitors through YouTube and Twitch, I might have 20-something through Periscope, and a lot of the conversations I've had with other folks have been through that. Well, they're shutting Periscope down now too. So I think it's March 1st. They're shutting it down. It's going to go offline. And so that kind of factored into things too, where I know this wasn't what you intended earlier, but I think it was still a salient point that it just feels like things are changing. Feels like it's time to kind of reevaluate and go on to something else. So, and if I could do anything to help you get you through some difficult times, then I'm glad. Let's all stay in touch, and I'm going to keep the Discord up. And even though I don't say much there right now, it is always running in the background on my computer, and on my phone. So if you say something there, I will definitely see it, even if I can't respond right away. So, but I wish you the best. I hope to see you again soon, honestly. Thanks again. This has been a real blast. God bless. Take care. And we'll see you again.